So we just got off the bus and then the subway. We're going to the wine museum, the Vienna museum. Apparently they have lockers in their basement because we still have our packs. Our hotel told us that we couldn't drop our bags there. Just disappointing because we purposely booked the 8:30 bus leaving Bratislava so we could have like a little cheatsy 3 full days in Vienna and only book 3 nights. And now we're just stuck with our packs all day. So I'm hopeful that we can leave them at the ground floor of this museum. It's also very chilly. It's actually better here than it was by the train station. It's freezing at the train station, and it's going to be terrible weather for the 3 days we're here. And then as soon as we leave, it's going to be like 25, 26, 27, and it's 7 degrees right now. So just terrible. But we're excited to be here in Vienna. This is our first stop, museum.
See, we don't have to pay to go in. Let's go. Oh, we're not paying to go in now, I'll tell you that.
So now that we are done with the museum, we're headed off to the Belvedere Palace, which is like the iconic palace here in Vienna. But we've literally hit a roadblock at everything we've tried to do today besides getting on the bus. The bus from Bratislava to Vienna was perfect, went off without a hitch. Get to the train station, want to check our bags, and like I said, it only takes 450 euros in exact change. We don't have euros, let alone coins, let alone exact change. So then we panic, try to come up with something else to do. We can't find a money exchange, but the ATMs won't take our cards. Like literally nothing is working for us to get cash out. So then we realized we can go to the museum and check them there. And then we get to the museum and it takes a deposit. It wasn't even gonna charge you, it's just a €1 deposit. So we eventually made it fit. We put all of our valuables in one locker and locked that because we only had one 50-cent coin. And then we put Carson's backpack in a different locker. Everything was fine. This is my 3rd time in Austria. Me and Carson's 2nd time here together. We're both super excited. Carson more than me, I think, though.
Yeah, I've wanted to come to Vienna for a while. I mean, it's obviously super famous, super nice to struggle. But my favorite, which we confirmed in the museum, is that they have like a ton of social housing. So like municipal housing made by the government. It's super affordable and super nice and communal, like with green spaces in it and shared stuff. And it's super cheap. Like the housing, look up like at the housing prices that people pay in Vienna, because it's Vienna, right? This super Western Europe city, and it's crazy, crazy cheap. So I love that. And they're also really pushing like green initiatives and biking and walkable cities, which I love. So I wanted to come here because it's really a role model, and it seems to be living up to the hype, especially from what we saw in the museum.
So we are in the Belvedere right now, which is one of the really iconic palaces. Like I said, the part back there is a museum now, but you can walk around these beautiful grounds for free. It's a little rainy of a day today. Like I've said so many times, you can tell I'm bitter about it because I'm so cold. My bag feels suspiciously light, so I hope I didn't forget anything in the locker.
So strong.
Carson and I aren't really interested in art that much. We're not art scholars, but I do know that they have that famous kiss painting here that my parents have in their bedroom. Really iconic one. I'll put a picture on the screen if I'm allowed to do that. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but you can go see the original in the art museum. That's what interests you. But Carson and I mostly just want to see the palace and explore the gardens. The art is a little bit lost on us, to be honest. We just kind of look at it.
I like to see the cool cities.
Yeah.
And walk around cool cities and see what culture's like.
It's like I have to walk everywhere with Eeyore. Carson always gets mad at me for exploring everything because I want to go in literally every single nook and cranny.
It's not exploring everything, it's we're halfway about like...
Well, we missed something, and I told him that I wanted to go. And then I said it's like I'm traveling with Eeyore. And that was Carson's Eeyore impression you just saw. The Belvedere Palace grounds were absolutely gorgeous. I definitely recommend coming. And like I said, you can walk through for free, which is so nice. I was telling Carson though, Belvedere and the Velveteen rabbit, like Velveteen and Belvedere are the same word in my mind. I don't know why I'm getting them confused and what the association is, but they're the exact same word in my head. Anyways, now that we're done with the gorgeous palace, we are headed to our hotel finally for check-in to drop off our bags. So we're back at the hotel now, and we have fully acclimatized to hostel life in Europe, which is way different than the life we've been living in Asia for the past little bit. This is our private room, shared bathroom with a shared kitchen. It's beautiful. We eat mostly grocery store food while we're here, as opposed to in Asia. We went to like the little street side food stands literally all the time. So that is exactly what we're doing. We're here on the bottom bunk of our room. I've got this tomato risotto, which actually slaps. It's so good.
I got some chili con carne in a can, and you know what? I was very excited about it. It's Mexican food, and I love canned soup.
And then we also have a nice cup of tea with tea bags we've been carrying around since Budapest, and they're so yummy. And we are watching The Office together, which we started doing randomly, and now we are in season 8, I think. So it's the end of season 7. So this has been our nighttime routine for the past little bit. And it's actually really nice and really fun. And this was our kind of little bonus day in Vienna, so we took a lot of time off once we checked into this hotel, finally, which was a bit of chaos, to be honest. But that's what the plan is for today, and then we'll see you guys tomorrow. So the first stop today is the last home that Mozart lived in. It's on the map as Mozart's death house, and it is here in Austria. He died on the 5th of December, 1791. Behind me is the building that he spent the last years of his life in. It's really cool. It's cool to see a place that he lived so long ago still standing. We had some trouble finding it, but there's a plaque on the wall that says what it is. And it was easy because there's a bunch of tour groups hanging around. We just couldn't find the exact building.
So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
So our next stop is St. Stephen's Cathedral, which is behind me. This absolutely gorgeous cathedral. Carson and I were saying, we have no idea who St. Stephen is. I have a vague memory from reading about it in Hungary, but I will update you once I get Wi-Fi and can look it up. There's been a lot of St. Stephen cathedrals though, like there was one in Budapest, like I said. So he seems like he's a pretty important guy. But this cathedral, absolutely gorgeous. And we were saying it's crazy. You can obviously see how old it is. Like you can just tell looking at it. It's crazy looking at things that like Mozart would have looked at when he was here. And now we're here looking at the same thing. It's so cool. That's one thing that we really like about Europe, is that we learn about the Renaissance in Europe a lot in our social studies classes back in Canada. So this stuff is so familiar to us, and it's got that like awestruck feeling when you see these things, whereas in Asia everything was equally old and equally beautiful, but we didn't have the same history that we have when we look at these places. It's really cool.
I think this is probably the nicest church we've been to so far, and we've been to a lot of churches now, so I will say it again, as I usually do, probably the nicest church we've been to. It's nice though, the details are amazing, the tower is so nice, but this one just has the most of the like intricate little carved things, and it has so textured and like layered, and it's huge, and it's got the colorful tiles on the roof, so it's really got everything. Big fan.
The detail in the carvings is insane. We're saying, I have no idea if they would have had to be hoisted up to carve that or how they did it. So if you know, leave a comment down below, because we have no idea how they got up there to do all that detail work. But the dimension and the depth in this specific cathedral is just insane in terms of the carvings. Like the windows are sunken in and all beautifully carved. You'll see in the clips, like it's just crazy. Once again, it is under construction though. So Carson and I still never see anything when it's not under construction, anything iconic.
We're at the point now though where I actually enjoy it, because it's been such a long streak of everything we go to being under construction that it's funny when it is.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that it is.
So just outside of the cathedral is Graben Street, which is super famous walking street. It just has really, really cool architecture along it. So it showed up on the itineraries as a fun place to walk up and down. It's been around for a long time, and on the itinerary, I saw that there's an H&M that now exists in a building that was once like a noble men's clothing store. So you're supposed to find
Right
it. Oh yeah, there, right there, right there. Look. Isn't that cool? Like, look at that. So we'll go in and we'll look around and we'll check it out. We also have these sausages. These are vegan sausages. Well, Carson's isn't. Carson's
Mine's
is
the
meat.
iconic regular sausage.
Which they're
Delicious.
so good. These are like classic road trip snacks, and I've been vegetarian for like 3 years now, and I've missed these stupid sausages so much because they just have that nice salty, like fake taste to them. And then we found them random grocery store in Vienna, and they're so good. So we've just been munching.
Great walking snacks.
So we're here in Demel Bakery, which is one of the 2 famous bakeries here in Vienna for the Sacher-torte. It's this cake behind me, you can see. And in this box, we have our own little slice that we're gonna go eat. You have the option to dine in at the cafe here, but the line, insanely long. She said it was gonna be like a 30-minute wait. So we just got our little to-go cake. Like I said, this torte is famous here in Vienna, and there's a rivalry between 2 different bakeries for who invented it, and they've actually gone to court over like the intellectual property for it. So this is a beautiful cake here that you can pre-order. So we found a covered area to eat the torte in. Here it is. In the descriptions it said it's filled with like an apricot. It looks very chocolatey to me. It doesn't look very apricot-y, so we'll see. Okay, here we go. Gotta get like the cake and the chocolate. It's pretty good.
It doesn't look, it's not a good reaction.
It's just, I'm not really a cake person. It's not that this cake isn't good. It's apricot-y. It's really good. It's really moist. Chocolate layer is really good. Everything is really good. I'm more of a pie person, to be honest. Okay, let's show you.
Why does Henny even get to try the cake then? Makes you wonder. I love cake. Who doesn't? Okay, that was a disgrace.
You gotta get the chocolate in the top.
Here we go.
You get the chocolate on the top.
That's like good. It tastes very like a rich person cake, to be honest. It might be a bit too rich for my personality, but I like it a lot. It's a high quality cake. I don't know what's so special about it because it tastes like a chocolate cake with jam in the middle, which I've been getting for my birthday from Nana for 23 years, so. It's delicious though. Good cake.
It does have a very apricot-y aftertaste. I can still taste it in my mouth. It's okay cake. Carson's right though. I think it is just a little bit too rich for our poor palates, you know? We don't have the cultured palates that these Europeans have.
Yeah. Tastes fancy.
Yeah.
I prefer them to taste sugary.
So right where we ate the cake, back in there, was right in front of the Hofburg Palace, which is one of the famous palaces here in Vienna, like with the one we went to yesterday, that is now a museum. Carson said he's tired, and I said he's not tired, he's cold. And we still have lots of sightseeing to do, so you have to speed walk. We're here in the Volksgarten now, which is right outside of the Hofburg Palace and Museum. If you can't tell from the clips with how gray it is and our squinting and our grimacing, it is cold. It's raining, but that like, the rain where it's just barely raining, it's enough to like hit your face, but you're not really wet. It's just kind of annoying. And it's windy, so it's cold. And we are not prepared for this kind of weather.
The wind is just chilling my bones.
I know, so we're freezing. we're cruising, and there's so much to see, and Vienna's so beautiful, but it's also very wet and gray right now. Like when we were eating our cake, we couldn't just sit and eat it on a bench outside because it's freezing and all the benches are soaking wet. So we feel like we just picked a bad time to come to Vienna, and we're very happy to have the vlog footage because now we can look back one day from the comfort of our homes and know that right now in this moment we're hurting.
We're suffering for the footage.
So.
We're here in front of the Austrian Parliament building, and this one is really nice. It's got a very like Greek and Roman look with the statues and the super fountain and all the pillars and columns. I like it a lot. It might even be better than the Budapest one, which is all fancy but very different. I love it, and I love Parliament buildings. Love seeing where the government works. Okay, now we're here in front of Rathausplatz, which is the city hall in Vienna, and it's stunning. This is an iconic landmark here. As you can see, it's awesome. Reminds me a lot of the city hall in Munich as well. And that's because Vienna is super similar to Germany for some reason. And they speak German, so I guess that makes sense. Anyways, this is Rathausplatz. It's really cool. And across from us, let's look this way, is the Burg Theater, which is also super beautiful and super famous. And they're just like across from each other in this cool place in this park. So pretty stunning. This little area we're in Vienna, which we're gonna come back to tomorrow, is just amazing. It's just fancy building, these giant, super nice architectural buildings. Every single building in a row is these stunning ones. So that's why it's just been boom, boom, boom. Pretty nice.
Man standing there, I'm nervous. We just got out of the university and now we're in front of this church. It stopped raining, the temperature's going up, everyone's in a good mood. Especially Carson. Do the face you're doing before. And we only have a couple more things we're gonna see here in Vienna today. Then we're gonna go home because Carson's tired.
Me. Who's blaming me?
And then we have another big day tomorrow. Unfortunately, I can't eat any of the food here, basically. The iconic Austrian food, it basically all has meat in it. But there's a potato salad I want to get, and that's fine because I want to eat at the grocery store in the comfort of our hostel anyways because I'm cold. Carson, though, is going to get a couple iconic things.
The one I want to get today is just the wieners from the stands. There's tons of little stands just selling the big Vienna sausages on the side. You can just get them quickly for cheap, so that's awesome. Like Vienna street food pretty much. And then when we go to a restaurant tomorrow, I want to get the Wiener Schnitzel, of course, the national dish, iconic. Have to do it, so that'll be tomorrow.
The last thing we're seeing today that we learned about in the museum yesterday is Hotel Metropole. The Gestapo, or the Nazi secret police, had their largest headquarters in Vienna, right behind me. 950 people worked inside this building where they tortured and interrogated enemies of the state, many of whom died, and the ones who did not die were often sent to concentration camps.
In the museum yesterday, we learned a shocking fact, which is that Vienna and Austria was actually really, really terrible to Jewish people before the Nazis even occupied them. And when the Nazis came in, like, they actually had to kind of organize and clean up some of the treatment towards Jews because it was so bad. So that's just shocking. The museum actually took a very like proper hard look at Vienna's past and was very critical of how they were and how they treated Jews before, which is kind of funny compared to the Budapest one, which is very like different, saying that the Nazis did it all. So yeah, pretty horrifying to read that and go, oh my god. You forget how terrible Europe was to Jewish people regardless of the Nazis. Like, everyone was kind of all in on that. It wasn't just the Nazis' fault, it was everyone hated Jews, which is really terrible, and you learn about that and it changes your perspective from what you actually learned in school. the walking and biking paths here in Vienna are so wild, and they always like mix with the roads and the tramways so aggressively. So look at here, you have a bike lane that goes right over the walking lane that just ends randomly, and then the bike lane cuts diagonally over everything, then over a tramway, through another tramway, through a road that's crazy, and then just disappears. You should be walking, and then you cross a tramway, and then you cross a bike path, and the bike path merges with the walking path, and then it splits off again on the other direction. It's just chaos. Like, you gotta always be thinking. Like, they've done a nice job of the usability with trams and bikes and walking, but they just get so chaotic. It's so weird. It's not like Amsterdam, where there's just clearly marked bike lanes and they go straight through, and you're either on the red bike lane or not. Here, you gotta be thinking, you keep you on your toes. What is this? The whole street, and then it just ends. Look at the whole thing becomes one mixed use lane, and it just becomes nothing. Why not just split it into bike lanes and walk lanes? Okay, we're here at a Wiener Würstel stand, which are famous here in Vienna. They just sell little sausages for cheap anywhere you go. So I had to get one. They're classic. This is what the lady said is the typical Vienna one, which is like a sausage with cheese in it. I got the classic mustard too. Looks delicious. Comes with a bun. I'm very, very excited.
It is so much warmer today than it was yesterday. Like, insanely warmer. So Carson is getting the sausage, and then I picked up 5 vegan sausages from the grocery store, because obviously I can't have any of this. Unfortunately, I have a cold, which is honestly probably my least favorite sickness that you can ever get. I hate having my nose clogged. And yet, here we are. So I think it's because I have been walking around without a jacket. I was feeling sick yesterday too though, so it's not Austria's fault, it's my fault. Anyways, today we're headed to the famous palace, and we're gonna go to the museum quarter, and we're gonna wander through Old Town again now that it's not rainy and terrible. And then tomorrow we head to Poland. So, quick little time here in Vienna, but it's been super fun.
I like Vienna a lot, and I've been enjoying the sausages and the food, and the buildings are just amazing. So, big thumbs up.
That was so delicious. It was like perfectly nice and crispy, and the cheese and everything. Oh my god, it was so good. Nice and warm, and the mustard was delicious. Big fan, very happy with that. And nice and affordable. You just get it on the side, you stand by these tables, snack on it with some bread. That was amazing. 10 out of 10. So happy.
We headed to Schönbrunn. Sure, I'm not saying that right. Palace. It is outside of the city, so you are gonna have to take the tram to get to it, or the subway. And it is so sunny now. We're so lucky. It's so much warmer than it was yesterday. Carson and I are having a debate now, because on every form of public transit, I love to look out the window. It's all I do. I just listen to music and look out the window. Or sometimes I just look out of the window with no music. And all Carson does is read or want to chat. And he misses everything outside the window. So,
I just like to read. It's fun. Like, we'll be on a bus for 4 hours. I can read like a whole book. Why not?
So anyways, leave a comment down below if you like to look out the window. I literally see everything, and I point out all the castles to Carson, and Carson just sits there seeing the same thing you could be seeing in Calgary. So behind us is the Schönbrunn Palace, which we still aren't pronouncing properly. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was built during the Holy Roman Empire, which is not the Roman Empire, in the 17th and the 18th century. And it was the home to one of the emperors during that time. It also is home to the world's first zoo. And based on reviews online, the zoo sounds pretty cool. So we'll see if I can convince Carson to go.
We'll see. But it's pretty cool. It's just a gigantic palace in the Baroque architecture we saw. So, if you care about that, that's interesting. And it's just absolutely gigantic. It's way outside of the city, so it's like way, way, way bigger than any of the other ones. And just it has 1,441 rooms. Just obscene. So it's just a gigantic palace. It's one of the biggest in Europe. This is where the Habsburgs lived, which are like the super rich sort of ruling elite for a long time in Vienna. So lots of history and super cool and giant.
We're in line to get tickets for the zoo. And Taylor said for Christmas we could go to the zoo in Australia, and then we never went. And then we were gonna go in Bali, but we didn't go. So this is a gift from Taylor. Thanks, Taylor.
There you go.
Here we are. They have pandas at the zoo. We had pandas at the Calgary Zoo for a while, but I don't think I ever saw them, and they had to send them back to China. So I'm always very excited to see pandas. And this segment is dedicated to Carson's sister. If you don't know Carson's sister, you should watch her in all of our Bali vlogs. She is a zoologist, so we always do all of this stuff for her. Shout out Taylor. I'm gonna reenact what we saw the baby one do, because it was trying to reach the ground, but its neck can't reach the ground, so it had to go like this. Like bend all the way down to do it.
Just like Alberta.
We're now in the farm section of the zoo, because this zoo was like on the big palace property where they did like have like hunting grounds for a while, and then this was an actual farm that they used in the palace. It was basically a second home. They'd come live on the farm for a bit, but it's cool. It's like now we're in like a mountain farm, but we're still in the palace grounds. Now we're in the canopy walkway section of the zoo. So remember, this is still, like I said, a zoo on the palace grounds, and of course it's got a canopy walkway through the fort. Like, they got everything here. It's ridiculous.
It shakes, and I know it makes Carson comfy.
Now that I survived that gigantic one in Malaysia, go watch the Taman Negara video. I'm fine with anything. And I was saying, now they're walking through here just in this regular forest, we've ruined things for ourselves by being like, oh well, we did do this in the one of the world's oldest rainforests, and it was way higher up at the canopy of the jungle, so, but I still enjoy it. It's just funny.
Carson was making fun of me for looking at the lynx and saying, oh, it's okay, I thought we didn't see it here. I saw lynx in the wild. And he's like, you're being so pretentious. And then we get to here, and he's like, we did this in the oldest rainforest in the world.
Sometimes you gotta bring your pretension out.
I got roasted in that blog. It's not the oldest rainforest in the world. It's like the third oldest rainforest.
It's one of.
It's one of the oldest rainforests. Through there you can see the palace right there. See? On yellow.
What the? You getting through? You get out. I take it around with it.
It's not very ergonomic.
No, it really hurts your knees.
Ah. Oh yeah, then what's the intended exit strategy?
Oh yeah, just fall right out. That was the exit strategy.
So they have a sign here called "Who hunts polar bears these days?" And I went to read it and it said, hunting polar bears, trophy hunting, is allowed in Canada. I feel disgraced with my own country. I'm not even joking. Like, I actually feel really terrible, and that's really gross that we allow that. What do you think, Hannah?
Yeah, that does not make me feel very good either. The indigenous people should be allowed to, at a sustainable level, with special regulations. If it's not significant to your culture, or you should not be hunting polar bears.
Yeah, rich people paying to hunt polar bears, that should not be allowed. Come on, Canadian government, cut it out.
My favorite penguins are the ones that look like penguins. When you think of penguins, you know what I mean. These ones. So that was the world's oldest zoo. It's not proven that it was the first zoo, because someone somewhere in Egypt maybe had pets, whatever. But it is the world's oldest still functioning zoo.
It's the world's oldest zoo. It's the world's first zoo.
Yeah.
Like, because it was the first zoo that was like set up to see animals and go see them and all that. It's just people like, oh, there might have been one in Egypt or whatever. It's the world's first zoo and the world's oldest zoo. But the world's oldest zoo, that's a fact.
And it was so good. I really, really liked it. I think all zoos need to implement the little paw prints to show you the direction that you should go around. That was so good.
The map just had an exact route that you follow, and it had little paw prints that you just walked with. So you saw all the animals in a good order that was all laid out, which is super smart. And they had tons of the best animals.
So much.
Elephants, cheetah, hippos,
and they were basically
tigers,
all out. Like,
yeah, we saw like all of the big animals you want to see at the zoo, elephants, everything. We saw all of them in one zoo.
Yeah.
Crazy. So now we're back in the super gardens of Schönbrunn Palace. We're gonna walk around all the gardens. They're absolutely massive. See the palace, do all that. So after our giant zoo excursion, we're still in the gardens, like I said. We're gonna do a whole tour. That was a lot of walking today. That was Schönbrunn Palace and the Super Gardens and the Super Zoo that also is in the garden, surprisingly. This place is amazing. It's crazy, they have so many of these gigantic pathways to walk through. Statues and fountains and everything. This was just mind-blowing, pure extravagance, but a really nice place to walk through. So that was good. We're happy we spent a ton of time here, like 4 to 5 hours, but that was with the zoo, which was long. Now we're gonna get back on the train, head back towards Old Town. We're gonna see like the theater and the museum quartier, which is like a bunch of cool buildings district. And we're just gonna wander around Old Town and get some food.
all right, so we're back in the Old Town. Behind you, in front of me, there is the Opera House, like you just saw. And then behind me is Hotel Sacher, which is the rival to the Demel Cafe where we got our little cake yesterday. And this place is so lined up. If you look behind this bus in literally 1 second, I'll show you the line. It's literally lined completely out the door, which I guess our cafe was too, but this looks a lot busier. There's no reason why we picked them out. I just thought that going to a cafe sounded nicer than going to a hotel restaurant, but clearly this is very popular.
I'm a little suspicious because they seem to be having this battle over who made it, but it's called a Sacher-torte and the hotel's Hotel Sacher. Seems like it's right, but maybe Demel had the same thing or made it first and then they just named it after themselves to be sneaky. So I don't know the history, like who knows, but I thought ours was delicious. And maybe, you know, we'll go against Big Hotel here and go with Big Cafe.
So yesterday when we were at the Hofburg Palace, we didn't go behind it where there's the big gardens and the Mozart statue. So that's what we are doing right now. It's literally like right across the street from the Opera House. So our last official stop, like I said, is Museums Quarter. This area is filled with a bunch of different museums and it's got a really cool courtyard. So people come here and just hang out, according to the internet. It's a really cool area and it's right across the street from a bunch of the other sites like the Schönbrunn Palace and the opera, like I said. So we've taken a stroll through here and now we're gonna head back to the old town, explore a little bit in slightly better weather and get some dinner. So we seem to have just really lucked out when we went to Demel because we walked past it just now and it is lined out the door to even get inside. Like when we were there yesterday, there was a lineup to get up to the cafe and we could just order at the counter for takeaway and there was one person in front of us in line. And now to get inside of the whole building, it's lined up out the door. So, I mean, it is like after work on a Thursday, so I don't know, but got pretty lucky yesterday.
My last meal in Vienna, and I'm getting the iconic Wiener Schnitzel, of course. Originated here, had to get it. I found this nice, like, local, near the university option. Good deal, huge portions. This is it, this is the iconic schnitzel. I'm so excited. And it typically comes with a nice cold potato salad on the side, they said, and we got that, and Hannah's gonna try that. I'll try it too, but that's for her. So I've tried it, it is delicious. So awesome. It's weird how thin it is, but yeah, just what you expect, thin meat. But the frying is really good, and with the lemon, it makes a beautiful taste. I love it, and it's huge, it's hot, it's delicious. What we need on a cold day. I'm very happy. All the food here in Vienna, for how simple and basic it is, like sausages and Wiener Schnitzel and stuff, has been so delicious and good, and I'm really happy with it.
Okay, mine, he let me fill up a bunch of different stuff that I wanted. So this is the potato salad. Let's give this bad boy a try. Tastes like potato salad, very mayonnaise-y. And then I got this other white looking thing. It's got peas and carrots, I think, in it. Let's give it a try. Tastes like the same thing, but with peas and carrots instead of potatoes. And then I got some, like, I don't know, sauerkraut. It's good. Tastes like mayonnaise-y, tart potato salad stuff. Alright, it is the next day. We were so tired after our huge day yesterday that we dropped the ball on the vlog, just had dinner, and basically went to bed because we're up early. It's like 7 a.m. now, and it's way less cold. The weather in Vienna was just gonna be terrible, 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 and then it like hit a wall, and it was gonna be beautiful. And today is the day when the weather got nice, which is the day that we're leaving. As you can see, we've got our backpacks on. We're headed to the train station because we are taking the first class train to Krakow today. It is our last new country of the trip, Poland, before we head home for a visit. So that's where we're headed now. You'll see that in the next vlog. If you liked this vlog, make sure you subscribe, check out our videos we've done in the rest of Europe and in Asia, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!